Good morning, how are you guys doing? My name is Dr. Lucas. I'm here to share something with you that is uniquely different than anything that you've probably seen or heard before. It's called Kangen water. You say, wow, water. What is water? Why is this water different than everything else that, I've heard about? Well, Kangen water is uniquely different because it has three special properties. One is it has a negative charge associated with the water. The second thing is the water is also microcluster, which means it's able to be put into your cell, put into your blood almost instantaneously. The last thing about the water is the water has a pH of 9.5. And I'm going to share with you and show you actually why these things are so very, very important. The first thing I'm going to show you is antioxidation. And as you take a look at antioxidation, you take a look at these two apples, and these two apples, one, as soon as you cut an apple, it starts to oxidize. It starts to essentially rot. So what I'm going to share with you is basically there's electricity inside of food. So inside of live food, instead of live vegetables, there's actually electricity. So we're going to take a look at some of the beverages that you have, and you're looking actually for a negative charge. So I have an assortment of different beverages that people drink on a consistent basis, and largely what we're talking about is a negative charge compared to a positive charge. As you take a look at this chart talks about oxidation reduction potential. That's the potential to reduce oxidation. Largely what you're looking for, like I said, is a negative number. This here is an ORP meter. I'm going to turn the ORP meter on as well. And basically, when you're talking about a negative charge, you're talking about something that has electricity, has life associated with it already. When you're talking about a positive charge, your body doesn't like positive charges. Positive charge, example of that is going to be radiation, it's going to be x-ray equipment, it's going to be cell phone use, it's going to be any type of fried foods or anything of that nature. So your body is looking for a negative charge, and we're going to take a look and see what beverages you're drinking on a consistent basis. So here we have a popular beverage here, and you can see there's a charge on that, and you can see that charge there. Okay, so this is not the best thing for your body. Your body's always looking for a negative charge. Here we have a very common sports drink here. Okay, and you can also see the charge associated with that as well. Also very high, very positive. And again, when you put too many positive charges in your body, it affects your blood. And as it affects your blood, what it does is it makes your blood actually start to clump together. This is Aquafina. We're going to have Dasani. Okay, let's check the charge on that, which has a positive number as well. We have Arrowhead here as well. Okay. Here we're going to have the Fiji water. Okay. And then in addition to that, we're also going to have tap water. Tap water is the one we're going to use. Tap water got a bad rap, I would say, roughly about 20 years ago. The government started putting chlorine in the water, also putting fluoride inside the water. This is Kangen water here. And you can see as that starts to move, let's see, that's the only one that has a negative charge. Can you see that negative number right there? So when you're talking about charges, you want to make sure that most people that are vegan or vegetarians, they're eating negative charges because the food is actually alive. That's really what you want to concentrate on when you're talking about foods and beverages, something that has a negative charge associated with it. Another thing we're going to do really, really quickly is we're going to look at the pH of the water, potential hydrogen of the water. Okay, you're going to show you what that looks like as well. And basically, when you're talking about the pH of the water, you're talking about a water that has oxygen inside of it compared to a water that is void of oxygen. So we're going to do a quick little demonstration. I'm going to ask Jack to come over. And what Jack is going to do, first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take this, it's called phenol red, which is basically tells you very similar if you have a pool or a jacuzzi. You're going to look in here, you're going to say, okay, the pH of this water, if you saw that chart, the pH of this water, hold your hand so they can see what's going on right there. And the pH of this water is 7.0. This is tap water, so that's why you're going to see the blue color. But you eliminate toxins several ways in your body. One is through urination, perspiration, exhalation, and defecation. That's how your body eliminates all of the toxins. So if you take a look at this water here, what Jack's going to do is just blow into this straw, just like you were a little kid, you used to blow bubbles in your milk. Go ahead, Jack. Hold your hand up higher so they can see. And as it starts to blow into the cup, what you're going to see is the water is going to start to change. And the reason the water is changing is because the pH of that water is now changing. The water is now becoming more acidic, and as that water becomes more acidic, it doesn't have the value that it once had before. Your body needs oxygen in order for it to function. And as that water starts to become more and more acidic, it's going to allow your blood to become thick and also clump together. Thank you very much, Jeff.
Thank you.
All right, I need to see that. And as you can see, the pH, if you saw the chart before, let's show them the chart one more time. You can see that now the pH of this water is altered, okay? So you may need to see that chart over off to the side, if you can. Because now what we're going to do is we're going to take a look at some of the other beverages that we have here. So we're going to start out with Fiji water. We're going to go to Arrowhead. We're going to go to Dasani, Aquafina, Gatorade, and also the soda. We're going to mix all those around. And what you're going to see is all of these beverages that people are consistently drinking are significantly void of oxygen. So if they're void of oxygen, you're putting this into your body as an athlete, it's going to make it very difficult for you to perform. Okay? So this is the tap water here that he blew off in, and now we're going to look at the Kangen water. Spin that around a little bit. And you can see immediately that now that water is uniquely purple in comparison to everything else that you've seen before. So now we're going to say, okay, well, if you're drinking this Kangen water in comparison to the other beverages that you're drinking, let's say if I just took a little bit of this Kangen water and pour that into the Fiji, immediately it's going to go darker. Not because of the dye, but because of the oxygen. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to use water here. I pour a little bit of the Kangen water in there like that. You can see how that water goes darker because you're putting more oxygen into the water. This is Dasani. Same thing happens there. Aquafina. Now, when you're talking about Gatorade and also sodas, what you're talking about is that this is 50,000 times more acidic. So you're putting a lot more, taking the oxygen out of your cell. So when I pour the water into the Gatorade, it will not turn. Okay? When I pour the water into the soda, it will not turn. However, if I take a little bit of this diluted soda, and I take a little bit of this diluted Gatorade, and we're going to use the soda, and we're just going to pour just a little bit into these that have been added the Kangen water in, just a little bit like that, immediately goes acidic. Immediately goes acidic. Try a little bit more of that. There we go. Just a little bit. Goes very acidic. And the question is, how much of this stuff do you put into your body? Because, you know, some people have big gulp sizes of soda on a consistent basis. And what I say is, what if I just took a cap full of soda here? And I took this cap full and put it into just a little bit of this water. That's how acidic this is to your body. Your body cannot digest this stuff. And because your body cannot digest it or cannot process it, it makes your body very, very acidic. As your body becomes more acidic, you're not carrying the proper amounts of oxygen. If you cannot carry the proper amounts of oxygen into the cell is going to suffer. It's kind of like you just not having enough oxygen. Your body's going to not being able to function the way that it's designed to function. Okay? The next thing that we're going to talk about is something called microclustering. Microclustering basically makes this electricity in the water, and it also makes the water be able to actually get into your cell. So this is a lot different from what people have seen. So what we're going to do is we're going to pretend, we're going to basically have a tea bag here, and we're going to pretend like this tea bag is your cell. And when I talk about microclustering, most people are going to understand this to be maybe bioavailability, meaning you got to get nutrients, you got to get oxygen into the cell, and you're also going to have to be able to eliminate waste out of the cell. So when we're talking about that, I just basically have a tea bag here. And normally if you're going to make tea, what you're going to have, you're going to have hot water. But so we're not going to use hot water, we're just going to use regular bottled water today. Better yet, we're going to use tap water. we take tap water because tap water is not microclustered. He's going to show you what that looks like. When I talk about microclustering, you're talking about maybe trying to get nutrients and oxygen into the cell and also eliminate waste out of the cell. So the molecules in regular water is much larger, which makes it very difficult for these properties to get back and forth. But when you use the Kangen water, the molecules are much smaller. You're able to transport the oxygen, nutrients, and eliminate waste much more effectively. So if I have a tea bag here, I take a tea bag, I take tap water, I pour it on there just like that. Not very much tea is going to be made. And a lot of people, they get confused by this because they go, oh, I drink a lot of water. Well, if the water is not able to get into your cell, then what good is it really doing for you? So now I take the tea bag here, I have the Kangen water, I pour it right there on the tea bag, and immediately right there we have tea. We take this out, put the tea bag on there, and then say, oh, well, this is why I drink bottled water. Bottled water has to be better than the other water. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a little Dasani here, I pour that on there like that. You can see there's maybe a little bit more tea there. But then I take the same water, same tea bag, I go right back to the Kangen water, which is microclustered, and I pour that on there like that. And when I say that's the difference between being hydrated and being dehydrated, most people are drinking a ton of different types of waters, and if you look on the market, there's all kinds of stuff that's out there. But let's say we use the Arrowhead water. Same thing, pour right there. Doesn't make very much tea. But as you can see, one person, when you look at these two, the Kangen water on the right, and this would be tap water on the left, is uniquely different. You're able to hydrate yourself much more effectively. And then when you increase how your body eliminates waste and also gets toxins in and out of the cell, it's uniquely different than anything else that you've tried. This machine has been used in Japan probably over the last 40 years. And as it's been used in Japan over the last 40 years, they've had incredible results just with helping people with a lot of different types of diseases. Because largely what you're talking about is you're affecting the blood. This is sesame oil. So the reason I use this is because most people eat they have a lot of meat or dairy inside of their diet, which means that there's oil associated with the foods that they're eating. So this is basically a sesame oil. And probably like you, I've been told my entire life that oil and water do not mix, okay? So here we have Kangen water. This is Kangen water 11.5. This is a lot stronger than the 9.5 water that I was using in the demonstration earlier. But when we take the oil here, we take oil and water, and just like you were told in high school, you probably got an A or a B in your class. You put oil and water together, and right there you can see they do not mix. So there's a distinct difference between the oil and a distinct difference between the water, okay? However, the 11.5 water, again, this is just water. I'm going to drink a little bit. It doesn't taste very good. But just to let you know, there's no chemicals or anything like that associated with it. It's all natural. It's just water. I pour this water in here like this, and all of a sudden you have an oil milkshake. That oil milkshake shows you how this water gets into your cell and how this stuff functions inside of your body. It increases how your body performs. Just on a consistent basis, flushing out toxins, getting oxygen into the cell, and also eliminating waste. These are the three major functions of the water. The reason all of this is important is because the blood is the biggest organ that you have in your body. So when we take a look at this chart, you're able to see here the chemistry of how your body's made up. Most people are very interested in your diet and the foods that you eat on a consistent basis, but every single food that you eat is actually broken down into your blood, and then from your blood is transported throughout your entire body. Well, if your blood is thick and void of the oxygen it needs to perform, that makes everything happen slower. So what I've seen is a lot of times by putting the oxygen in the body, putting the electricity in the body, the person is able to heal and recover and perform a whole lot better than they would compared to drinking some of the other beverages that are available. That pretty much concludes the presentation and showing you the three qualities of the water. If you have any questions, feel free to contact my office. I'm here located in Long Beach. Once again, my name is Dr. Lucas.